Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So, this is something new that I have brought about. So, you must have heard everywhere about the 20th notebook, right? Or the choti copy. Hashtag CC, hashtag 20th notebook. So, what is this basically? What happens is that there are some topics that are very volatile, right? And you need to have a look at them 1 to 2 days before the exam. For example, if you study medicine and surgery and there are a lot of conceptual topics there, even if you don't go through them for a long time, you'll still remember it because we have the knack as we have practiced a lot during our internship or in our ward rounds. But again, there are some topics which you study n number of times and you still tend to forget. For me, that are the developmental milestones, then IBCs, right? Topics like that. So every day I will be making short videos on covering on these topics, so that we have a list of all the volatile topics at one place, and our 20 notebook can be formed. So at the end of every day, that is I guess around at 12 o'clock, I will be posting a video on all these volatile topics. Okay, the topic for today is pathology, and we will be starting with the images. Alright, hope you have a great time and happy learning. So, if you talk about images, the first thing you need to identify are the cells that we see in a slide, right? We all have prepared it during our practicals in pathology. Not pathology, basically physiology. We used to prick our fingers every day and see all these cells. So let us just revise them. The first cells are RBCs. They are very easy to identify. They are biconvex in shape, right? And the lifespan of RBC is 120 days. It has central pallor. If the central pallor is absent, it means that there is presence of an ovulocyte, or if the central pallor is increased, then it indicates iron deficiency anemia. Right. Second are platelets. Now platelets are the small cells that we can see in the slide, and they have some granules like alpha granules, p-selectin, then fibrinogen, fibronectin, factor 5 and 8, then platelet growth factor 4, platelet derived growth factor, right, and TGF beta. Now, platelet growth factor 4, it binds heparin. Remember that is an important point. Others can be serum granules like ATP, ADP, and calcium, then histamine, serotonin, and epinephrine. Right. Next cells are the WBCs. So WBCs can be broadly divided into those having granules, that is granulocyte, while others that lack the granules are called agranulocyte. Remember that the lysosomal granules, they are of three types: primary, secondary, and tertiary. The primary are the azurophilic granules like MPO, defensin, cathepsin, phospholipase A2, elastase. Secondary granules are lactoferrin, lysozyme, collagenase, beta 2 microglobulin, and the tertiary enzymes are C particle like gelatinase. Alright, let us look at the granulocytes. They are of three types: neutrophil, basophil, and eosinophil. Right, basophil, as the name suggests, will have basophilic granule. Basophilic granule, that means blue. Eosinophil, as the name suggests, will have eosinophilic granule, and eosinophil are pink. Okay, neutrophil has both eosinophilic and basophilic granules. That is why it is called as neutrophil. Right. The lifespan is 6 hours for neutrophil, but it is 1 to 2 days in the tissue. And you can see that the nuclei of neutrophil is segmented. Normally there are 1 to 4 segments in a neutrophil. If the segments are more than 5, it is called a hypersegmented neutrophil, which is seen in megaloblastic anemia. We'll read about it later. Then basophil, it will have blue basophilic granules and it appears like a bunch of grapes, right? Now remember, mast cells are nothing but basophils with blue granules. Then eosinophils, they have major basic proteins and pink granules. Now the agranulocytes are monocyte and the lymphocyte. The difference is that monocytes are very large cells and they have abundant cytoplasm. Right. Also, if you look that the nucleus is indented and it is called a kidney shaped nucleus. While if you look at lymphocytes, they are small cells. Right. They are also called as small round blue cells. The cytoplasm is not appreciated, therefore, we can say scanty cytoplasm. Right. The lifespan of lymphocyte is 2 weeks to 2 years. All right. The next cell is macrophage, which has a lifespan of 1 to 3 days. Right. It appears as a very big cell with clear cytoplasm that is pink. Now, what you need to know are some modified macrophages in various organs of the body. Right. For example, in spleen, they are called littoral cells. In kidney, mesangial cells. In placenta, Hofbauer cells. In osteoclast, type 1 synovial cells. In brain, jitter cells. In lung, dust cells. And in liver, Kupffer cells. Okay. So we all know Kupffer cells. Then Hofbauer cells. They are. This question has been asked. Macrophages in placenta are called Hofbauer cells. In kidney, mesangial, spleen, littoral cells. Then brain, jitter cells and lung, dust cells. ठीक है, how you remember this? Lung में alveoli में dust की वजह से you have pneumoconiosis, right? So dust will be related to lungs because we breathe in dust. ठीक है, then jitter cells in brain, like remember glitter, sparkly substance in brain, because our mind is blown. So yeah, I don't have good mnemonic, I'm sorry. Then macrophages are classified as M1 and M2. M1 are classically activated macrophages, while M2 are the macrophages that are activated by anti-inflammatory interleukins like IL-4 and IL-5. ठीक है. Giant cells first are Langerhans giant cells, that is seen in granuloma, and Enitzkow cells seen in RHD, Toutant, this is seen in xanthoma, and Warthin-Finkeldy cell in measles. Okay, this question has also been asked. And Enitzkow cells in RHD, this question is asked in November 21 INICET as well as NEET, both exams. So this is also an important topic. Now let us see the microscopic images of MI. Okay, so first is within 24 hours or 1 day, we'll see wavy fibers. And let us look at the gross features also. On gross, the myocardial will appear pale or firm. Then 2 to 4 days, there can be coagulative necrosis and the myocardium is now pale and soft. 3 to 7 days, macrophages appear. Remember this everywhere. Whenever the time is after 3 days, right, macrophages are the predominant cells. What will be seen in gross? There is a yellow infarct in the center. Then after 7 to 14 days, granulation tissue is seen. Wherever it is mentioned 7 to 14 days after injury, granulation tissue is seen. So 3 days macrophages, 7 days granulation tissue. What happens? In the gross, there is a yellow center now with a red border. So at 3 days, there was just yellow infarct. And at 7 days, because of granulation tissue, we will have yellow center with red borders. Then after 2 to 8 weeks, that is, collagen will start appearing and it will lead to scar formation. So the sequence is first wavy fibers seen in 24 hours, coagulative necrosis in 2 to 4 days, then macrophages after 3 days, then after 1 week granulation tissue, and after 2 weeks a scar or collagen is formed. Okay, now let us look at some other images. So this is a nutmeg liver which is seen in congestion of liver, right, associated with CHF. Here you can see small nutmeg like appearance, that is why it is called as a nutmeg liver. Now CVC of spleen is called as Sagos spleen, and this is an image of Lardasius spleen. What you need to remember is that there is problem with the follicles in a sago spleen, while if there is a problem in the sinus, it leads to lardaceous spleen. Okay. Then necrosis. This is the coagulative necrosis, which is found in infarct. Right here we can see a wedge-shaped infarct. And remember that most of the tissues will show coagulative necrosis. The other type of necrosis is liquefactive necrosis, which is seen in the brain tissue. Okay, this is liquefactive necrosis. Then caseous necrosis, it is a very cheesy white appearing material that is usually seen with TB. Fibrinoid necrosis, this is an important question. Has also been asked n number of times. It is seen with polyarthritis nodosa, malignant hypertension, and rheumatic fever. Then some pigment of wear and tear. First is lipofuscin. It is a brown atrophy. It is seen in brown atrophy of heart, and this question was asked in November INICT. See, these are such important slides. You can get many questions right from just reading these slides only. Next, hemosiderin. Okay, hemosiderin is the deposition of iron. So it appears brown. Okay, but on Prussian blue stain, it will stain blue. Next, Samoma body. Samoma body is nothing but calcification, right? So they will be seen with medullary thyroid cancer, meningioma, etc. All the tumors which will have calcium, that is metastatic calcification. Next, this question was also asked this year, that this is a bone marrow biopsy, right? It will have trabeculae, fat cells, and cellularity. So these white spaces are fat cells. Now what was asked is that this was entirely replaced by fat cells. There were no cells, right? Only fat cells could be appreciated. So this is associated with aplastic anemia, right? And this also shows dry tap on aspiration, because there are no cells in the bone marrow and only fat can be seen replacing the cells. Now next image, this is omental fat necrosis. You can see these white areas in the omentum, which is suggested of fat necrosis, right? It is associated with chalky white calcification. Now two special granules. First is toxic granule and Dole body. These are seen in sepsis. Toxic granules are seen in the neutrophil, while Dole body, these are nothing but dilated particles of endoplasmic reticulum. Another cell that is very confusing is Pseudopelgar-Hughes cell. Right here you can see a bilobe neutrophil. Do not confuse it with eosinophil. Okay? Eosinophil will have very pink cytoplasm. This is neutrophil, and also pink granules will be seen there. Okay? So Pseudopelgar-Hughes cell is seen in myelodysplastic syndrome. Then here we can see polychromatic RBC, that is an immature RBC, right? You can see purple colored RBC, that is the polychromatic RBC containing extranuclear RNA. Then reticulocyte, it is seen on supravital stains like here. Basophilic stippling is nothing but it is a precipitated RNA, and they are of two types: core stiffening, here we can see in lead poisoning, and fine basophilic stippling seen with sideroblastic anemia. Then nucleated RBC, here you can see they are seen okay. They are nothing but reticulocyte, and again these cells, they are schistocytes which are seen in hemolytic anemia. Next, Howell-Jolly body, they are the DNA remnant. So basophilic stippling, remember, is the RNA. This can also be asked. And Howell-Jolly body are DNA remnant. Okay. So they are seen in post-splenectomy patients, right, in hemolytic anemia. And they will not stain with iron stain. While Pappenheimer body, what are these? They are irregular bluish precipitate in the periphery. ठीक है, and these they stain with iron stains. Let us revise again. Basophilic stiffening, coarse in lead poisoning, fine in sideroblastic anemia. Then nucleated RBC with schistocytes in hemolytic anemia. What are these? They are RNA precipitates. DNA remnants, first is Howell-Jolly body, which is seen in postplenectomy, hemolytic anemia, and it does not stain with iron stains. Second DNA remnant are the Pappenheimer body, which are irregular bluish precipitate in the periphery, and they can be differentiated from Howell-Jolly body because they stain with iron stains. Now, golf ball inclusions. This question has been asked. Here you can see is seen with HBH, right? Then here we can see normal RBCs, right? So, as I mentioned initially, ovulocytes, they have decreased central pallor, and macroovelocytes or large RBCs with the decreased central pallor, it is the earliest finding in megaloblastic anemia. Then another finding in megaloblastic anemia are hypersegmented neutrophil, and remember it is the most characteristic finding. I've already talked about it. What is spherocyte? Here the central pallor is absent, right? So what happens is that there is increased MCHC or the concentration of hemoglobin, and the most common cause for a spherocyte is AIHA, and second is hereditary spherocytosis. Now remember, if a question comes where this slide is shown and they mention that the woman is 20 years old, then the answer would be AIHA, while if the question mentions a 2-year-old female, then the answer should be hereditary spherocytosis. ठीक है. Next are acanthocytes. Acanthocytes, they are irregular projections like this. They would be irregular. ठीक है. And they are seen with A beta lipoproteinemia, very important. Remember this by heart always. ठीक है. Acanthocytes. Here we can see an acanthocyte, right? Here again an acanthocyte. So on intestinal biopsy, what will be seen in A beta lipoproteinemia is again another question. There will be lipid-laden epithelial cells with vacuolated cytoplasm. Okay. Now, this should be differentiated from Whipple's disease, right? In Whipple's disease, we can see foam cells in the lamina propria. Also, these are PAS positive, very important. In GIT images, we will see the difference again between Whipple, tropical sprue, and A beta lipoproteinemia. These are all disorders of absorption or malabsorption disorders. Then acanthocytes are confused with echinocytes. Echinocytes are Bursell, and here you can see that the projections are regular. Okay. Echinocytes or Bursels are seen with uremia and liver disease. Dicryocytes, they are teardrop cells. Here we can see a dicryocyte, and it is seen in myelophthisic anemia, like metastatic cancers, metastatic deposits, storage disease, right? If in the question it is mentioned there is a history of spleen disorder, then the answer will be thalassemia, because dicryocytes are also seen in thalassemia. Dicryocytes, the other name is teardrop cells. Then let us see as some precursor cells like erythroblast. It is a precursor for RBC, right? If erythroblast is seen along with myeloblast, and some dicryocyte can also be seen, then here you can see erythroblast, and this is a myeloblast. So it indicates leukoerythroblastic reaction. If a dacrocyte is also seen, then the diagnosis for this is myelofibrosis. Okay. Now you should know how to differentiate between a myeloblast and a lymphoblast. A myeloblast will have granules in the cytoplasm, right? And you can see a strip of cytoplasm, while the nucleus will have nucleoli as well. In lymphoblast, you can see a very big nucleus with very scant cytoplasm, and there would not be any granules in the cytoplasm as well. Drepanocytes, these are sickle cells or sickled RBCs seen in sickle cell anemia, right? Then podocyte, they are target cells which is seen in thalassemia. Another cell that was seen in thalassemia, remember, was drepanocyte or the teardrop cell. Then HBS, HBC, post-splenectomy, and also sickle cell anemia. Then blister cell or pus cell, it is seen with G6PD. Schistocyte, it is seen in MAHA or micro angiopathic hemolytic anemia like DIC and ITP. Then degmacytes, right? They are nothing but they are artifacts which are seen in G6PD deficiency. This is also called as bite cells because it looks like you have taken a bite out of these cells. But if you look on supravital stains like methyl blue or crystal violet, then you can see denatured RBC, right? So this was the thing that was not staining on the normal Romanowski stains and appears as bite cell. And on supravital state, these are called as Heinz bodies, right? And it is seen in G6PD, glucose 6 phosphate deficiency. Now let us look at some stains. Okay, whenever you see some black thing, it is always a silver stain. So this is a reticulin stain, and it denotes fibrosis. It can be seen in liver or bone marrow in conditions like myelofibrosis, aplastic anemia, METS. This question was also asked in November INICT this year. So you can already see the importance of these slides, right? Then PAS stain, right? It is used to stain kidney. Here we can see a beautiful diagram of the glomerulus. It will stain amyloid pink. It stains everything pink. So what will appear pink on PAS is amyloid, colloid, mucin, lymphoblast, bacteria, and fungal cell wall, as well as macrophage, right? In bone marrow, glycoprotein, glycolipid, ALL, and fibrinoid necrosis, these are all PAS positive, and this is a very important stain. तो कहाँ हो गया? सबसे पहले किडनी, ठीक है, amyloid, then colloid, mucin, lymphoblast, ठीक है. Remember next point, bacteria and fungal cell wall. Macrophages, you all remember, is pink, which is due to, and it is a PAS positive. Then bone marrow, glycoprotein, glycolipid, ALL is PAS positive, very important. We will study this again when we read about the hemat-oncology volatile topics. Okay, this is also one important video. Okay. Also remember, Gaucher cells that are seen in Gaucher's disease are also PAS positive. This is the sixth we should remember. So क्या हो गया? Amyloid, bacteria and fungal cell wall, bone marrow, ALL, Gaucher cell, and remember, this is very important, glycogen storage disease. It is PAS positive, diastase sensitive. Okay. Rest other are generally diastase resistant, like yolk sac tumor, alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency, which has the hyaline globules, right? These are PAS positive, diastase resistant. Also, amyloid and Whipple are PAS positive, diastase resistant. Okay, this question is asked. Let me write it here. PAS positive, diastase sensitive is glycogen storage disease, and diastase resistant is amyloid and Whipple. Next is Prussian blue stain. Okay, so in liver, hematochromatosis, that is increase in the iron or deposition in the liver. We can see blue iron deposits. Then MDS, sideroblastic anemia, and ferruginous body also stains with Prussian stain. This is also very important, Mason trichome stain. Right, here you can see the collagen is stained blue while the muscle is red. ठीक है, this is muscle and this is collagen. Also, remember a similar name, Mason Fontana stain is used for staining melanin. Mason trichome is for collagen, that is basement membrane, and Mason Fontana is for melanin. Then some other silver stains, Gomori methenamine silver stain for fungal hyphae. See, beautiful aspergillus hyphae are seen that are acute, angled, and branching. This is also asked, right? That aspergillus has acute, angled, branching hyphae, and the background is a little bit greenish. Then other is pneumocystis, right? It has a cup and saucer appearance, which can be seen by the Gomori methenamine silver stain. Again, this question asked in NEET or INICET this year only. So yeah, this is also an important stain. This is Worthen silver starry stain for H. pylori and Treponema pallidum, right? Also in membranous glomerulonephritis, it can be used, and it shows spike and dome appearance. Okay. Then this is Congo red for amyloidosis, and apple green bifringescence in again amyloidosis. Remember, for copper the stain is orsin and rubianic acid. For DNA the stain is acridin orange, and RNA methyl green pyramine. Then in kidney immunofluorescence, there are two patterns, linear and granular, which we will study again in glomerulonephritis. Okay. Then Alcian blue stain. Here you can see such a beautiful blue staining of acid mucin, and it is used to make the diagnosis of Barrett's. Then toluidine blue is used for mast cells. Another blue is methyl blue stain, that is a supravital stain used for staining Heinz bodies. Then mucicarmine is used for Cryptococcus capsule, right? And oil red O here for staining fat. Then von Cosa stain, it is the most common for calcification, and it is seen in Monkenberg arteriosclerosis, the calcification which is stained by von Cosa. Then alizarin red is also for calcium, right? And this is the most specific stain for calcium. Hope you like this 20th notebook or the most volatile topic video, and we'll be covering the remaining topics with the subsequent days, right? And I think like it's better not to read anything new at this moment or at this point of time. What you have, your notes, just consolidate them and just remember to do the volatile topics at the end. Keep practicing, keep giving tests, keep giving GTs, right? And that's it. Hope you like, comment, and subscribe so that I know what kind of content I am supposed to make. And also, if you want the notes or the PDF for this video, then you can message me on my Instagram. I'll be most obliged. And your feedback on this video is so surely welcome. Thank you guys. Have a nice day and happy learning.